In the NFL, we often hear about the superstars, the MVPs, the flashy players with massive contracts, and the ones who have great highlight reels. And that is justifiable. But sometimes the true impact of a player goes beyond the field, beyond the trophies, and deep into the heart of their communities. Warrick Dunn was never the loudest player. He wasn't the biggest or fastest, but he was one of the most respected both on and off the gridiron. His story isn't just about football. Although he had a stellar career for sure, his story is also about overcoming unimaginable adversity and using his platform to help others. And that's why I'm making this series, to appreciate superstar players who don't get the shine they rightly deserve.
In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
Welcome back to Unlikely Success. Like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Today, we're diving into the remarkable journey of Warrick Dunn, a man whose greatness was often overshadowed, but who quietly left an indelible mark on the game and on the world. Warrick Dunn's path to the NFL wasn't easy. He was raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Dunn was one of 6 children raised by a single mother, Betty Smothers, a Baton Rouge police officer. Tragedy struck when he was just 18 years old. His mother was in an armed robbery while she was working a second job as a security guard. The devastating loss of his mother would force Dunn to become the head of his household and caretaker for his siblings. It's hard to imagine the weight of responsibility on his shoulders at such a young age, but Dunn refused to let it break him. He used the adversity as fuel, determined to make his mother proud by pursuing his dream of playing in the NFL. And he would find a way to do just that. It would start with a commitment to head coach Bobby Bowden at Florida State. At FSU, Dunn became a household name, racking up over 3,900 rushing yards for his career, and even winning a national championship in 1993 with the Seminoles. His blend of speed, elusiveness, and toughness made him one of the best running backs in college football. But at just 5'9" and 180 pounds, it was his size that many scouts doubted would be able to survive life in the NFL. After all, running back is a position that takes a heavy dose of punishment. These scouts, though, were underestimating the heart and determination of this particular young running back. Should scouts be able to identify when a player has undeniable intangibles, or are they simply too difficult to correctly forecast? Because these scouts missed that was Warrick Dunn's biggest strength. In the 1997 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were sold on Dunn, and they selected him with the 12th overall pick. The Bucs had been a struggling franchise, but their fortunes were about to change soon. Dunn was expected to inject some much-needed life into their offense, and that is exactly what he did. In his rookie season, Dunn racked up over 1,400 total yards and was named the Offensive Rookie of the Year. His combination of quickness and vision allowed him to slice through defenses, and even though he was one of the smallest players on the field, his toughness could not be questioned. Dunn had quickly established himself as one of the most reliable dual-threat running backs in the league, as he was equal parts dangerous runner and receiver, with nearly 1,500 scrimmage yards and 7 touchdowns. However, despite his individual success, he would often be overlooked due to the star power at the position at the time. You see, Dunn wasn't the kind of player who made the highlight reel every week, but he was extremely consistent. He wasn't flashy, but he was dependable. And that is a quality that rarely grabs headlines, but it is invaluable in the NFL. I would even go so far as to say it's more valuable to have a reliable player who consistently delivers very good performances than it is to have a boom or bust player, where you have to suffer the highs and lows of inconsistency. Dunn's years in Tampa saw the team go from perennial cellar dwellers to legitimate contenders. With Dunn in the backfield alongside a personal favorite of mine in Mike Alstott, the pair and a stifling defense led by Derrick Brooks and Warren Sapp would lead the Bucs as they made the playoffs in 4 of Dunn's first 5 seasons. The team's overall success was great, but Warrick and the Tampa offense often played second fiddle to that defense when it came to media attention. And for good reason, as the late 90s and early 2000s Buccaneer defense is one of the best units ever. In 2002, Dunn made the decision to sign with the Atlanta Falcons. The move turned out to be beneficial for both parties. In Atlanta, Warrick would go on to post some of the best numbers of his career, including 3 straight 1,000 rushing yard seasons from 2004 to 2006. His ability to break big runs, catch passes out of the backfield, and serve as a pass protector made him a crucial piece of the Falcons' offense. The same year Dunn joined the Falcons, Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, and this had to be a bittersweet moment for Warrick. as the team he had helped build finally reached the mountaintop after he left. Even though he wasn't there to lift the Lombardi Trophy, his impact on that franchise was undeniable. Warrick Dunn played in an era where running backs were the superstars. But in Atlanta, the most notable player on the team was Michael Vick, while players like Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes, and Shaun Alexander rightfully dominated headlines with their MVP caliber seasons. Dunn quietly went about his business, racking up yards and helping carry offenses that needed him. He remains one of just a handful of running backs in history to surpass both 10,000 rushing yards and 500 receptions. An incredible feat for sure, and given his size and the pounding his body took over the years, it's pretty damn remarkable. Yet even with these numbers, Dunn has often been overshadowed by running backs who served as their team's primary star. He wasn't the one to dance in the end zone or make any salacious headlines off the field. Instead, he let his performance and work ethic speak for him, and it just so happened that he would land on franchises with higher profile stars. But if there is one thing that sets Warrick Dunn apart from most athletes, it's his commitment to giving back. Inspired by the memory of his mother, Dunn started Warrick Dunn Charities and launched the Homes for Holidays program, which provides down payment assistance and home furnishings to single-parent families in need. To date, Dunn has helped over 200 families become homeowners. His work off the field has touched the lives of so many people, and for many, this is his true legacy, not the solid NFL career he had. While he may not have historically great numbers or Super Bowl rings to brag about, Dunn's impact as a player and philanthropist is immeasurable. He carried himself with humility, just as his mother had taught him, and quietly, he became one of the most respected figures in all of sports. When we talk about Hall of Fame running backs, Warrick Dunn's name rarely comes up, but maybe it should. He doesn't have gaudy numbers compared to his contemporaries, but he was a model of consistency and durability. Over his 12-year career, he had 5 1,000 rushing yard seasons and made 3 Pro Bowls. These are not necessarily Hall of Fame worthy numbers, but in an era where running backs often flamed out after only a few seasons, Dunn was a steady presence who could do it all. His dual threat ability puts him in the same conversation as some of the other greats of his time, and while it's a stretch to call him a Hall of Famer, it's worth a discussion at least. Do you think it's worth a convo? Or is he simply a player who belongs in the Hall of Very Good? Let me know in the comments. Warrick Dunn's career may not have been filled with accolades or the spotlight, but it was marked by quiet excellence. On the field, he was a dependable, versatile star who did everything asked of him and more. Off the field, he became one of the most philanthropic figures in sports, changing lives and building a legacy his mother would be proud of. In a league that often rewards flash and fame, Warrick Dunn's legacy proves that sometimes true greatness comes quietly. This has been The Unlikely Success.
With ESPN magazine coming out, I really hope they take every precaution to avoid the coveraging situation, something that's plagued me my entire career. Tiger beat in 93, I sprained my ankle. Model Railroader 96, I went into a 5-game slump. Cat fancy almost ended my career. I know one thing, I'm never doing cat fancy again.